Ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here on YouTube. I hope everyone is having a wonderful night tonight. Sorry I wasn't able to get around to making a video today. I really wanted to see where the market was going to go, and I didn't want to put out something that was going to be instantly non-relatable. So if that makes any sense, let's get into this. So bear with me 1 second here. Bitcoin left us all for dead, probably. Oh man. So let's do this. Let's check out my Twitter. So if you are not familiar with my Twitter handle, it's at real6fig. And let's get into this. So 12 hours ago, I was talking about how we might see something happen at or around 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Via time sequence in Fibonacci. This could be the start of a reversal or market acceleration. Whoa. So we got that at 7:50 a.m. Central Time. So let's see where that was. So 7:50 Central Time. So when I put that statement out, we were right here. And so 11 a.m. rolled around, and let's just look and see what happened. So there's 10:55, here's 11. So 11 a.m. rolled around, and look at what's happened ever since. We've seen a downward price movement. So, using Fibonacci, we were able to determine that, hey, the end was going to happen at this exact time, 11 a.m., and we were going to start seeing a possible reversal. And we can see how the total crypto market cap, that's what we're looking at right here, quadruple. I mean, maybe even, I'd say a solid quadruple topped this $2.32 trillion mark. And we'll take a peek at Bitcoin here, but we will get into CKB. I just wanted to start off with this so you guys can understand where the market is going right now. So bear with me 1 second. I'm just trying to look through the comments sections here. Good to have you all. All right. So total market cap. This is what it's looking like, folks. So we have, and I get rid of this because I'm live now, right? I swear this is not a recording. And what we can see now is this rising wedge ending diagonal pattern. And you can see it's retracing down to probably this 50 moving average, quite possibly, or this baseline for sure. So I would expect this to consolidate a little bit further over the next few hours. And with that said, we are kind of nearing the end of the road for this rising wedge. There's not really, we could go for another leg up, but I'm thinking at this point in time, we are really going to come down and possibly test this lower trend line. And so that'll be interesting to see what happens. I have been trading CKB, and I've been keeping an eye on Bitcoin, as you guys can see this. We ran a little bit of a pitchfork on Bitcoin earlier. I didn't do a video on this, and this is just me watching all of this through my phone. But we can see that Bitcoin really is following this little channel quite nicely. And right now it is currently trying to hold support above this median line on this pitchfork. So with that said, we will see what happens with Bitcoin. Let's look at CKB here, because this is why everybody's here. I guarantee it. So, earlier today, I sold off, my bag that's in my trading account of CKB. I think I got in, I sold it right around 0.01485 ish, somewhere in there. I bought back in on the way up here, and I didn't sell here. So I bought some more right back down here. But the moral of the story is, I was able to increase my CKB position by, 5,000 CKB probably. I'll have to do the math on that. But we can see that on the 1 hour chart right now with CKB that we are filling out this ascending triangle still quite nicely. And I'm really happy about this. So one thing I'm liking, at least on this 1 hour chart, is that we saw price action come back down to this trend line. And on the 1 hour chart, you will see price action fly through the cloud all the time. So I'm not really too concerned about the whole cloud trading right now with this. For those of you that are interested in getting into cloud trading. But I'm just trying to look at these comments too. And so the thing is, we are seeing a nice long wick down to this trend line, which is exactly what we want to see. The bears are trying to bring the price down in this 1 hour candle session, and the bulls are buying it back up. So we have 4 minutes left on this close. I'm expecting to see the next candle start right here, and it'll be interesting to see if it wicks back down to this support level. So we're looking at a candle probably right here, and I'm hoping another wick down, but I'm hoping it's a much smaller body candle, if that makes any sense. And I want to start seeing some wicks on the top of these candles, meaning that the bulls are driving the price up, but the bears are tearing it back down. That's always a good indication that we are nearing a reversal. Especially, I'm just going to speak out loud here. We can see big time bearish engulfing candles here. And then we can see, for the most part, full-bodied, full-blown green candles to the upside. Once we start seeing these wicks on both sides of the candle like this, that tells us that sentiment has changed. People are selling, people are buying, and the ecosystem, the tides could be changing. So let's just wait. We'll come back to this 1 hour chart with CKB in a few minutes. Let's look at CKB on the daily chart and really kind of see where this is. So earlier today, like I said, I was going to drop a video, and then I just didn't have the time, and I do apologize for that, especially when the market's banging. I mean, I was so busy with other things, and I thought that the last video kind of covered what could be going on with CKB. So we have been speculating in previous videos that we have this almighty inverse head and shoulders that is happening. And with the price action kind of filling out this ascending triangle on that 1 hour chart, if we can get some upward momentum, I do think that CKB has a good chance of breaking through this 50 moving average and then coming up to test the cloud and maybe even this 200 moving average right around 0.0177. But all of this is contingent on Bitcoin. So with that said, we need to take a peek at Bitcoin. So bear with me 1 second here. So here is Bitcoin. We are looking at Bitcoin once again. But the one thing with Bitcoin, I'm going to go ahead and erase all of this, is that we can run a Gartley pattern on this. And we have. And the one thing I like about this Gartley pattern is that it is pretty dang accurate. So we'll go ahead and run this really quick. I'm not going to bore anybody too much with this, but for this point, we can see, for point C, we are looking for price action to not go higher than this candle here. So theoretically, we can have price action play anywhere between the 61.8 and 100% level for point C on a Gartley pattern. And furthermore, if we draw up a retracement, bear with me 1 second, folks. We like to see price action not exceed the 786, and we like to see it come down and touch this 61.8 level. And now point C, if it blows the top off the $65,000 level, well, this is not valid anymore. But if it doesn't, man, oh man, we will likely see, I should say. I'm just going to judge from this point here. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to go all the way up to here. And we're likely to see this $20,000 Bitcoin. I'm not saying anytime soon, but, possibly within the next month or so, couple months. Bitcoin can flash crash like it's anybody's business. So it really could be a matter of a week that this happens. So we are really kind of in this holding pattern right now where we are just kind of waiting to basically see, if we break the top off this channel here. If we do, then this is irrelevant in my opinion. So this is just kind of one of those things where we have to wait to see what price action does, and we will, play the waiting game once again. But I can't help but to just notice right now, we're just going to draw some lines on the chart. Are we in some sort of rising wedge pattern here? I mean, you could argue that we possibly are. And we may be fixing to see Bitcoin just kind of move up and up, and maybe it won't make it to the $65,000 level, but if it stays within this holding pattern, we will likely see a dropout here. And the one thing that's dangerous about this current situation with Bitcoin right now is that if we do not get what's called an impulse wave to break this channel, this rising wedge, we are likely to see the possibility of a head and shoulders pattern that will form and lead us down to D. And you can really see where the neckline would be in this possibility of a scenario. And I'm just going to draw it out here. We might see, something like this occur. So keep an open mind going forward. Let's get some price points that you can kind of look out for, because obviously, we're talking, a lot of stuff in the comments section. This coin follows that coin and blah, blah, blah. And that's all great. The thing with Bitcoin is it owns $1 trillion of the crypto market cap. So, things kind of just follow a natural rhythm more than I think people think. So, I don't think everybody's necessarily following Bitcoin. I think there's more of a natural rhythm to trading, and that's why it always looks like things are following each other. But, here we have a very kind of impulsive wave, or even a B, C, D, E kind of correction here after this all-time high. It's tough to tell. So I'm excited to see what Bitcoin does. And if you see Bitcoin trading, higher than 50, I'm just going to go 57,900 in the next day or two, you'll know that we have broken through this this rising wedge. And the ultimate goal at this point is to move this up to a point where it becomes a channel. So really, that's what needs to happen right now. So with that said, I wouldn't be surprised the way RSI is kind of hanging right here to see a little bit more consolidation. On the daily chart, we are in a dangerous as hell position as far as the market is concerned. And I've been warning about this since August, that the greatest bull trap might be coming for us right now. And just keep this in mind, folks. If you see price action trading below 44,000, and this, 10,000 wiped off Bitcoin in the next, 48, 36 hours is not that hard to do. But if that happens and we break through this lower trend line, we will see a death cross. And I've been warning people since August. I said, be careful. The whales might manipulate this 50 moving average over the 200, send price action, and everything crashing right through. You can kind of see that happen once already, but they're really people stepped in to buy that dip. I'm not trying to be scary here. I'm just trying to open some eyes, because I know there's a lot of other channels, and I don't watch a lot of other channels, but I see stuff, where it's just super bullish all the time, and it's good to just I trade things both ways. So I'm not a bull or a bear. I'm just here to make some money like everybody else. So let's get back to that. You can kind of see here too. I've been running some stuff on ETH. Let's see. What do we got in the comments? What's going on? I haven't really been checking this out, so bear with me 1 second. Looks like we've got Justin says CKB is following more of ADA's pattern. Let's check out. Oh, we're on ADA. How about that? Let's check this out. Let's see how close these are. So get these both on the 12-hour chart. And I'm not trying to disprove this. I know you're probably 100% right. So we're just going to check this out and see how close it actually is. Yeah, it really does kind of look like ADA's chart. Absolutely. We can see this dip here, the double bottom, just like we can see over here, the rise up to the top, a few dips down in here. And let's take a peek at ADA while we're here. So ADA is in a significant squeeze right now. So we can see this because we are forming a symmetrical triangle right like this. And if I had to guess, ADA is getting ready to move. I mean, man, ADA's getting ready to move. And if we reject on this 12-hour chart, this 50 moving average in the cloud, it's down to retest this 200 moving average. There's no questions about it. In liquid, we will get to Ecstasy in just 1 second here. Strika, the heavy hitter of the channel a couple months ago, would have been a win at least. Let's see, you guys are talking about Sheeb. Is that what I'm seeing? Ecstasy. Max Gleiberman. That's a good question as far as the price action in the entire crypto market right now. Right this second, I'm bearish on things. We're seeing a very bearish pattern and this is the total crypto market cap. So this is kind of everything kind of lumped together. And we did see something very similar to this form back in August, we can see this was kind of the same formation that happened in a way. Bear with me 1 second. So, I mean, you can kind of see, where I'm going with this. You can kind of see the rising wedge pattern that formed, where basically price ranges heavily and then consolidates, and eventually there's nowhere left for it to move up. So we've got that, and let's just look at some other cryptos that you guys have in the comments. So in the comments section, let's see what you guys got. So XTZ, see what this thing's doing. Oh man. Okay, this is very interesting to me. One thing I find very interesting about this is that there are some serious players buying these dips, and I suspect Ecstasy could be getting manipulated in some way by maybe some sort of whales. And I say this really, I mean, we kind of have a head and shoulders pattern here, not textbook, but it is there. And it's kind of interesting to me to see how price action pumped, I guess, along with Bitcoin. So with that said, I mean, when I start seeing stuff like this is really kind of concerning, but we have what's called a broadening wedge, which, I don't know. It's kind of interesting play, almost kind of like a huge cup and handle, kind of, right? So let's really break this down at a high level. Man, Ecstasy has been on a climb. Look at this thing go. So if you would have bought into this back in February 19, 38 cents, it's reached as high as $10 this bull run. This is great. So let's look at a little Fibonacci channel, and let's just draw this back to, right here. So bear with me 1 second, and you can really see how price action has really been playing within these channels quite nicely. So if you had to ask me what Ecstasy is going to do next, we might be getting ready to come up and test this $10.73 level. Would be the most likely, price target to hit to the upside. However, if it cannot hold current prices right now, I do think that you will see Ecstasy run down to maybe $6. So, I mean, what I'm kind of seeing here is a lot of the same patterns in the market right now. Let's just go ahead here and really kind of chop this. We can really kind of see these rising wedge patterns that are starting to form, just the way the main coins have been moving. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to see this maybe bounce down to this lower trend line here, $6.80, maybe take a crack at this $9 level. I'm trying to just look and see if I can make out some sort of Gartley pattern out of this, and very well could be, but everything's just kind of so matched together. Let's just look at this one more time, and we'll move on to the next one. So people in the comments section, drop the next coin you want me to check out. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ecstasy hit $10.12. Look for $8.40 going forward, somewhere in there. So Packable, the king, has entered the video, so we're gonna pull up BTT and get this out of the way. Good to have you here, Packable. And this is not the right chart. So we will look at BTT. Oops, I went and clicked on the wrong one again. How about that? Been a long day, folks. So it looks like we've got V-Chain, thanks Strika, Cody, Tezos, and Cody. So we will review Cody twice tonight. So let's look at this though. BTT. I know a lot of people have held BTT at one point in time. This is kind of everybody's coin. And right now, price action. Whew, man, we were coming down, and this thing was really looking to death cross. And if it wasn't for the recent spike in Bitcoin, I do think we would have seen this as well. And we'll go over VGX and the good old Sheeb here in a second. So I want to look at this on a crazy, man. This is crazy price action. So we ended up breaking the lower trend line of this Fibonacci channel, which is a big no-no. So since then, price action on the 1 hour chart at least has re-entered this channel. So I'm hoping that we see some sort of movement to the upside here, and we can kind of, and I think we might be able to argue that there might be some sort of head and shoulders pattern. Not really. Let's look at this a little bit more. Okay, I'm trying to look for some other Gartley pattern and just visuals that could help me out with this. This is a hard trade. I'm not going to lie. So, you know, currently we're sitting atop the 50% level. We do need to see this thing run up to 0.004 cents. You can look for stuff as high as 4.5 cents to the upside. 5 cents. It'd be nice to see this retest this 5-cent level. I mean, as long as we can stay in this channel here, I think this is probably going to be the most likely outcome for BTT, is that we see price kind of hop back up into here and maybe form some sort of ascending triangle heading into the end of October. We might see some price action move up if the market is healthy. So you guys have to keep in mind this is all contingent on Bitcoin, things like that, and all that stuff. So let's see here. You know, to the downside, if we fall any further, let's look at this, and then we'll move on to the next coin. The market is so messed up right now. That's for sure. I do think the market is being manipulated. So if this thing goes to the downside, 0.003, I mean 0.002, those are some numbers that you might expect. And then it would completely throw this Fibonacci channel off, which wouldn't be good to deviate from the upward trend since December of 20. So let me look at the chat section here. It looks like we've got V-Chain. Let's go to V-Chain. Thank you, Strika, for you know, being that muscle here. To appreciate you. You can see I was messing with V-Chain probably at some point a long time ago, and we're going to get rid of all that stuff. So V-Chain right now looks like is about to golden cross. So this might be preparing to move to the upside. It's squeezing in a symmetrical triangle pattern. So that is good to see. Let's just look at this at a super high level, right? So we know that V-Chain is squeezing. It's been in a squeeze since October 2nd and October 1st. So there's nothing worse than trying to deal with price action squeeze. And let's see if we can really, my goal here is to find a Fibonacci time sequence that will allow us to predict possibly when we will break from this squeeze. And it can be up or down. That's the thing you have to keep in mind with time sequence. So quick lesson. Here's how you do time sequence. We are looking for swing high and swing low points. Doesn't necessarily have to be at the top, but this is the most logical place to start, because right here, from right here to right here, we have an incredible swing of momentum. So bear with me 1 second. And in hindsight, what do we see? Well, right here, time sequence predicted a reversal, and it predicted this reversal right here. How crazy is that? And it kind of predicted a reversal down and around this area. Price action shot up. So the next time sequence isn't until October 15th. And it's interesting that this, that these trend lines point exactly to this date. I mean, that's creepy. That's creepy. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a double confirmation on this date, or try to find another time sequence that is right in around this area. So let's look at this. So we are going to throw up a little placeholder there, and we'll get rid of that. So here we go. Let's do this again. I'm going to measure off this little swing high here, point here to this point here. And now we have to kind of look at this in hindsight. What did this predict? Okay, this predicted a reversal here. And then we've got a little bit of a reversal here. I don't know. It basically predicted that the coin wasn't going up and it was going to trade sideways. I'm going to move this over. I mean, we have a time sequence there. So let's run this one more time. And I'm going to just do it from this point here down to this low point here. Okay. I mean, there's not really much going on, but we can come up with some sort of time frame that October 14th to October 15th might be some key dates to watch out for with V-Chain. And this is all contingent on Bitcoin. So we could see this thing squeeze out and drop. We could see this thing squeeze out and then rip to the upside. With V-Chain, I'm seeing Elliott wave theory to the downside already with this. So I would lean that this might be more of a bullish impulse, would be my guess, but it's just a guess, right? We won't know more until time passes, and it could be where we exit this squeeze here and just kind of reverse, along these Fibonacci time sequences. I'm going to leave this up on the screen here. So we've got Shiba, Cody, twice, Litecoin, which I will be mining Litecoin tomorrow. So I'm interested in checking that out. I don't know, you guys interested in hearing about my mining rig setups and stuff like that? I can do some videos on that. Excuse me, guys. I had to take a sip of some water there. I was parched. So let's look at Shiba. Okay, Shiba. Here we go. You guys want this in the Euro or USD? We'll go USD. How about that? And Shiba, I remember I was looking at this one the other day, and right now, Shiba, we do have some sort of possible Elliott wave theory in motion right now. I really need to look at this on a 5-minute schedule. Shiba really knocked this out of the park, and this was plain as day that this was going to pump. I wish I would have taken the time to look at this, but we have a not a very long ascending triangle. I mean, we're talking a day, and then this thing ripped to the upside after it ripped to the upside. So we have a very clear ascending triangle. This is the base that is propelling SHIB right now. And one thing we can see is we have a little bit of Elliott wave theory to the upside, and we may be seeing something like this. So if I had to take a guess, and this isn't financial advice or anything like that, as long as Bitcoin is not messing up, let's look at this. Let's look at this. We're going to throw this right here. You know, I could see this next point being right around this 0.0003. Not even going to try to pronounce that, but you guys can see this price tag. That could possibly happen with SHIB. And I'm just, here we go. Another green bullish engulfing candle as I am talking. On the 5-minute, it's currently testing the 61.8% level. 78.6 is going to be a crucial one to get over, simply because this is a common point where people will reverse positions, stuff like that. So to the downside, you know, 3115, 3024. But to the upside, I do think that there is every chance to get up to this 3713 number. So that is kind of that with SHIB. I want to just do one more thing with this. Bear with me 1 second here. My goodness. The parabolicness of this is great. So I want to show you guys just how important pitchforks and stuff like that can be. And so if we would have taken a good old-fashioned pitchfork, stuck it right here, come up and measured here, and come down to this point here, you know, we can kind of see, you know, the direction that SHIB was destined to go. And maybe this would be better suited off over here. So, I mean, currently we are sitting above this median line, which is in resistance territory. And it's interesting to see how it came right up to this edge and pulled back. So it'd be great to see a double top of this. We are squeezing. You can see the symmetrical triangle here. All right. Let's look at the next one. Cody is the next one. Cody. And oh man, what was I doing? I must have been reviewing this chart some time ago. Okay, so somewhere in here, I must have been, I don't remember when, but we must have been talking about some sort of impulse waves here. And you can see through this previous TI, I was probably speculating we're going to see an impulse wave or something, but it looks like there was one. We came right up to the 127, which off this TA that I'm seeing right here, this is a prime point to reverse. And I bet I know what I did here. I was probably working some sort of Gartley pattern or something like that. So with that said, you know, where's this thing headed now? Let's get into this. Let's get into this. I wouldn't be surprised to see Cody come down to the 61.8 level. It really wouldn't surprise me to see a wick down to this point on this 4-hour chart, simply because you can see here how this hasn't really been trending too far below this 200. And so I do think that we will see this 200 kind of, bear with me 1 second. We might see this 200 kind of continue on like this. Price action might come down here and maybe just wick down to the 61.8. This is my guess, and this isn't financial or trading advice or anything like that. It's really hard to pick up on any sort of impulsive waves here. for those of you that have been with this feed now for the last, I don't know how long this is, 43 minutes already. Jesus. I told myself I was going to sit down and do this for a half an hour. Okay. See how much, man, I'm having fun. I'm having fun. So it's all good. So we can see that, you know, we start getting these rising wedges, and this is kind of what we're seeing across the market, and nothing good ever comes of these. So I do think that, you know, 61.8. So you might see this thing come down to the 45-cent level. It might reverse off that depending on other factors in the market, such as Bitcoin. But if it falls down to the 40-cent level, or maybe a little bit below that, 38, 39 cents, yeah, you know, that might be a good time to reanalyze your position, maybe add or sell off if it starts trending down towards this 32-cent level. Let's see, we got Cody twice. Yes, that's right. So let's do Cody again. Just kidding. Let's see. We would kidnap you all the time if we could. You were never getting out in a half an hour. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I know, and I'm happy to be here. So one thing I am noticing though with Cody, and I just picked up on this, so is that there could be some sort of a potential for you know, some sort of rising wedge pattern forming if we come down here and reverse. So something to be careful about and look out for. So let's look at Litecoin, which I'm interested in because, like I said, I've got my 4th crypto miner coming tomorrow or Friday. I just got done setting up all the power supplies and stuff like that for it today. We'll recap CKB here, Sunshine. So I'm excited for Litecoin. I really am. And I hope that it goes to the freaking moon. So let's look here. I'm just curious. You know, I used to hold Litecoin, a lot of Litecoin back in the day. I mean, I want to say it was like, I don't know, $50 a coin or something like that. And it might have been somewhere in 2018, or it might have been somewhere in 2019, but I had a substantial amount and I sold it. And I really wish I would have held on to that because, I mean, god dang, this thing has mooned like crazy. Now, the one thing I am seeing with Litecoin that I'm liking, obviously we have these double tops, and it's a damn tragedy that we couldn't see Litecoin really go higher substantially, you know, than what it did back in 2017. I mean, we got a few extra $20 or whatever like that. Let's see here. We'll do seller next. I'm just going to throw this up. I'll get into the miners here in just a second. But one thing I do like is the fact that we have, over the course of these few years, you know, if we go into a bear market, expect for price to come back down. But over the last few years, we have seen Litecoin's lows get higher and higher. So this kind of reminds me of a super huge ascending triangle. So, I mean, man, you guys, I don't know. I like this. And I'm definitely going to be mining Litecoin and holding Litecoin. So getting to the question here, we'll get back to this TA on Litecoin in just a second. But getting to this question, what kind of miners did I get? I'm looking to get 2 CK5 miners. And yeah, the CK5 miners are good if you can get them from Gold Shell at cost. I do know that, you know, I can't say much about this right now, but I might have a venture going where we will be doing industrial miners in an office building. So it's pretty much an unoccupied office building that we might be filling up with miners. But Big Timer says, grab the CK5s if you have a place that can handle the noise. They're just about as loud as a blender. So that is the God's honest truth with these industrial miners. And that is true. They sound like a freaking jet engine. Not even kidding you. Just like a blender. But if you have some sort of soundproof studio, or, you can put this thing in a nice, well-ventilated room and maybe throw up some soundproofing. As long as you have good airflow and you can feed these things cooler air and pass air through them, they are a good investment. I do know that the CK5s right now are pulling in about 4,000 coins a day. So for me, personally, I'm just running 3 CK boxes. So, I'm running 3 CK boxes from Gold Shell. I have a horror story situation on my hands with one of the power supply units I got from Gold Shell. Don't buy those. I'll get into that in another video. Basically, I had that thing blow up. But the miners are legit from Gold Shell. From what I can tell, I haven't had any issues with mine, and I've got a mini Doge Litecoin miner coming from them tomorrow. You only get 0.002 Litecoin, I don't know, every few days, and then you get about 7 to 8 Doge per day. So at the end of the day, I mean, you're looking at roughly, just over 200 Dogecoin a month, possibly. Just depends on everything. So it'll be interesting. I'm definitely going to hold my Litecoin. I'm just might even add to it along with CKB, because I do think that this chart here is very promising, just based off what I'm seeing. So with that said, let's really kind of break this thing down a little bit more, because I've been rambling. We had the daily chart going. This thing looked like it was going to Golden Cross. It didn't. It looks like, man. Okay, we can see a head and shoulders pattern that formed here on a very micro scale. It didn't really do much to price action. And this seems like an anomaly event. And if I do remember back in early September, I think that Litecoin and Walmart, or it was one of those retail companies, there was some scandal where one of those companies got hacked. You guys remember that? Let me know in the comments section. So we may be in the midst of forming a little baby ascending triangle with Litecoin right now. And this wouldn't surprise me to see Litecoin maybe run up to this $193 level and just kind of bounce in between 193 to 162 before this thing moves to the upside. This thing's looking like it wants to come back up and retest this all-time high here. Not financial or trading advice, but I might go and buy a couple Litecoin after this retracement here. That is, I'm not going to be buying right now. But that's where we are sitting with Litecoin, and we can definitely see what could be some sort of impulsive wave to the upside. So that's interesting. Let's see what we got. Strika. So people can invest in the room thing you're building, 6Fig. Oh, man. I tell you what, I wish they could, and they might. We are working with people who have quite a bit of money and have basically we are working with owners of internet service providers. So we will have like a T1 internet line running to these minings. That's right. It was a fake press release saying Litecoin has partnered with Walmart. And I could tell that right away that this was some sort of anomaly event that disrupted this ascending triangle. So that's interesting. But you can see when these anomaly events happen, price just kind of goes back to where it was going to go anyways. So that's interesting. What do we got here? We've got seller next, I believe. And then we will look at Strika. You want to throw a miner in there? All right. I'll see what I can do. No promises. You're going to have to just trust a complete stranger, but we might be able to do something for you. All right. So let's look at this. Let's look at seller, right? And then what do we got for time? 54 minutes, 24 people watching. Thank you all for being here. Oh, this is Cello. I did this the last time I started doing TA on Cello. And it should have been seller. There we go. How about that? So yeah, nothing really changing much with seller. We are seeing a little bit of a drop off, and I think I was speculating the last time that we were going to see price action move in towards this cloud, especially on the daily chart. After a run up like this, we can see clear as day Elliott wave theory impulses, which these are so cool to see. If you guys don't know about these, I would say that this one starts here, or down here somewhere. But these impulses are just the coolest thing in the whole world to see play out in charts, because these are present in trading all the time. And if you just look up Elliott wave theory and trading impulse and corrective waves, you're going to go a long way, especially when you're looking at like daily charts. So currently seller is trading at 12 cents, 13 cents, and this is off all-time highs of 20 cents. So right now we have seen price retrace as much as 43%, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. I know Wall Street traders be like, oh my God, it's down 4%. Us crypto people are much weathered than that. So we can see that right now we do have a little bit of support right at this 12, 13 cent level. Whether we hold this or not is anybody's guess, but I would say that this thing possibly could come down and reconnect with this 50 moving average line. And my guess is that we see price action move right down to the cloud on the daily chart. And this is what's going to probably happen. We're going to see price action try to jump and avoid the cloud, because that's what always tries to happen. And if it fails, we will get sucked into the cloud. And on a daily chart, that is not a good thing. And here's a prime example of this. Like I said, here is a previous run up. Once we see price action get way out there, we see it come down, check the 50. It tried to bounce up and over the cloud here, but got sucked into it. So you can kind of see we are right around a similar position here as we were back in April. So kind of interesting. Let's see what we got here. People are talking about coins and Pokemon. Let's look at VGX. I like VGX, and you can see, I like VGX, and we'll look at GRT here. I'm going to throw this up just so I don't forget about it. We'll look at GRT next. Right now, I've been speculating that Voyager is in this falling wedge, which is a good thing. This is a great thing. It's not a good thing if we're up here, but it's a good thing when we're down here. And the fact that we might be seeing something happen with Voyager token right on or around October 12th is going to be huge. But I've been speculating the last week with Voyager that there is a chance to come down and hit this $2.09 level. And I think the last video I did on Voyager, I've taken the last few Voyager videos down because I've caught so much flack from people that support Voyager and they're not liking this bearish sentiment that I actually had to take the videos down and delete comments and things like that. It was like crazy. So we can see right now that Voyager is experiencing a little bit of a chop. But this $2.09 arena, likely is to come. If we can come down there, maybe this $2 mark, something like that. But I do think that October 14th, something's going to happen with Voyager token that, could potentially be a game changer and get us out of this. Maybe October 10th. So keep October 10th, October 14th in mind for Voyager token. That's when we might be seeing, this final bounce to the upside with Voyager. And that's really all I can speculate on right now with Voyager token is that I do think that it's still going to go down. And the one thing about Voyager token right now is currently the app is engaging in rewards. So they are rewarding app holders twice a month with cash back essentially on their trades, as long as they were market order trades, things like that. So people are getting rewarded for trading, which makes them money because they can take a little bit off the top for themselves and give it back to the Voyager users. So that's kind of cool. But at the same time, you're printing shares for holders and depositing it. So it's kind of like how the US is printing money in a way. I mean, this is a short-term temporary thing. But it might be long term. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's some people in here that will correct me. So what do we got here? What do we got here? I'm just looking at some of these comments here. Graph. Looks like Marcos is heading out of here. So thank you, Marcos, for swinging by. I'm looking here at some of these. So it looks like we have, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get caught up on these comments, so keep them coming. Strika says he wishes he could get the Voyager app in Australia. Yeah, man. I mean, they're spreading out. It might be a little bit, but they are expanding rapidly across the world. And I do think that eventually they will be like a Binance kind of platform, simply because they've got really good leadership over there. Former E-Trade's CEO, I believe. So yeah, there's a lot going for it. And someday you'll be able to buy Voyager. I know you can buy the token on Binance if that's available in Australia. I'm not sure. Bear with me. Do you think CKB will bridge? Oh, yeah. I do think that everything's going to bridge. Yeah, CKB is really going to pull everything together. I do think that we're going to see kind of the UXTO alliance really pull things together. And I believe Ergo might be a part of that. Cardano, Nervous Network. There might be a couple more players within that whole ecosystem. So the UXTO Alliance, look that up. That is huge. And I do think that we're looking at a hostile takeover of the market for sure via the UXTO Alliance. Just my opinion. Let's see what we got here. Check some notifications. Okay. I'll get to that in a little bit. We got any more? Let's see. VGX, could you chart how it will look when it bounces? Well, we can try. We can do some sort of hypothetical, strictly illustrational purposes. Let's just say for shits and giggles that this thing comes right down to $1.94. And I have been speculating too for a while that we might see $1.96 VGX tokens. So I wouldn't really be surprised if we do see that $1.96 or a wick down to it. But let's play a hypothetical game here. So let's say we do get this bounce off like the $1.96, $2 arena. I do think that if we see a run up, there's a good chance it'll be right up to around this $2.93 level. So I do think that is reasonable, and I don't really have a time frame on that. I mean, it could be October 23rd that happens. That could be what this time sequence is indicating here. I would really like to be able to run some Gartley on this here in the future. Once we get more of a defined structure going, because right now this thing looks like a disaster, just being real. So there you have it with Voyager token. What do we got? So Strika says Topple, Ergo, Cardano, Nervous Network, the UTXO Alliance. So I mean, this is some heavy lifters here. So we'll look at GRT next. GRT. Yeah, so here we are with GRT. Let's just draw up some lines here. And we can see that GRT is starting to really squeeze. And this is on a daily chart, folks. So right now, if we can see price action consolidate sideways and maybe fill out some sort of ascending triangle or something like that, or symmetrical triangle to squeeze to the upside, this would be huge. What I'm looking for with this right now is currently we are trading underneath this cloud, and this is a prime spot for price action to really move through. This will be the least path of resistance. We always like to see when price moves through these skinnier parts of the cloud, kind of like right down here. It just kind of breezed right up through the cloud. There really isn't any other examples of it going through like the thicker parts of the cloud, but this is exactly what we want to see. I do think that the opportunity will arise for GRT to move to the upside. And with that said, this 50 moving average, once we start to see this thing kind of arc, price action is going to react. And if we see this conversion line tick to the upside a little bit, we will see price action really take off. And then if we can pull this 50 moving average up like this over this 200, I do think it's off to the races for GRT. And I mean, it's sitting at 71 cents right now. Let's just kind of mess with this for 1 second here. So let's just say this thing does start ripping. I'd be comfortable with saying that there's a likelihood that we might see this thing run up to $1.14 And at that point in time, I would like to see it either hit this $1.14 level or the $1.34 level. But let me tell you why it's going to be better to see GRT hit the $1.14 level. Okay. So with that said, if we come up and hit this $1.14 level and we see this trend continue into the new year, by spring, if this plays out like this and Bitcoin behaves itself, all that, this is going to be one hell of a ascending triangle, and we will see price expand rapidly and probably blow this all-time high out of the water. So right now, GRT is building a base. I do think that. And we can almost see that this trend line, man, it really aligns nicely with, the stars are aligning right here. We just don't want to violate this trend line at any time because that will invalidate this entire ascending triangle. Let's see what we got. So I'm just kind of looking at the chat right now. Bear with me 1 second. Voyager should be way more. I agree. I absolutely agree. The thing Voyager has going with it is that it rebranded its coin. So people are probably skeptical of that. DXY. So DXY, can you tell me, Paka, what that stands for? DXY. So all I'm getting this is so I'm getting this in the value to wrapped ether, and that's really my only thing. Is we can see that this thing this chart is a measurement of the value of DXY to wrapped ETH. So let's see what we got. Just did V-Chain. After this video is done processing, just go back and check it out. Yeah, Packable. If you know what DXY finance, DXY. What does DXY stand for? Does anybody know? Pack, are you still in here? It's DXIOT. Is that it? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm not seeing much. Let's see. We got any others? Any others? Should we look at HODL? Should we see if there's even a coin out there that says HODL? Oh, Jesus, there is, isn't there? I tell you what, they make a crypto for every single thing, don't they? Let's see what these new messages are. SIA. Let's look at this. Scicoin. I think I remember looking at this. Where can you get this? I'm sorry, guys. My chat that I'm seeing through I don't know if you guys can see this. My chat box that I'm seeing is significantly delayed, and it seems like it updates once a minute, and then all of a sudden I get a ton of comments that drop in. Did we do Tezo? But okay, STMX. We'll get into STMX. I like that. KuCoin or Bitrex. Gotcha. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, Scicoin. First thing I'm noticing here is this cup, this handle, which is kind of a broken handle. It's a shame to see this. It would have been nice to see this handle kind of go up more, but nonetheless, currently, Scicoin is squeezing based off this price action. We can see this clear as day. And I do think that the Scicoin is right around the corner from making a move. So with that said, I would expect that by November 18th, we will know which way Scicoin is going. And based off this trend line here, I can pretty much guarantee you, yeah, that trend line, yeah, that's a really nice trend line. So we are seeing a very nice upward climb. Unfortunately, you know, Bitcoin is really going to impact this in the current market conditions. If I had to guess, I would say that this thing's probably pretty done, pretty close to being done retracing. So I'd say, just based off this, you know, look for Scicoin to hit some of these numbers to the upside. 0.03, 0.04, 0.05. If this thing really gets juicing, 8 cents. But you know, to the downside, 0.01563. And let's just do something here. I really am kind of interested in this. I would say logically, this thing has a good chance of reaching this 0.07892-ish area to the upside, to the downside. You know, man, if this thing cannot break this upper trend line here, you know, 0.01, 0.00751 would be the next areas to look out for. Currently, we are trying to pull a golden cross off here. So that is interesting. So that's kind of what's going on with Scicoin right now. Engine, I like that. How bad do I think bear market will hit CKB? Man, that's a good question. Let's take a peek at CKB and draw up some comparisons. Let's take a peek at what Bitcoin's doing right now. Okay. And these charts are addicting to look at, aren't they? So here is CKB right now. So let's look at, oh man, there really isn't any previous data because this coin is so new. Well, what we can kind of do is look at all-time lows. So we can see that this thing has come down to 0.0026 cents. One thing that I am noticing right now is that we have a very strong support and resistance line here. And just trying to see maybe somewhere right in here. But there's other ways to figure this out too. What I would be most interested in seeing is measuring some sort of retracement schedule here. Let's just get into this. So if, let's just say the bear market shows up in the next couple days, and this pains me to say this, but I think if the bear market gets like it did back in March of 20 when we had this nasty black swan event that happened, I do think that, you know, we might be in store for almost a 0.004, 005 CKB. I would hate to see that. I would hate to see anything under a penny, but let's face it, when the bear market comes, we see, you know, 80 to 99% liquidation of coins. So, you know, the market really loses a lot of momentum and liquid. So with that said, it wouldn't be surprising to me to see, you know, a half cent, 0.004, somewhere in there with CKB. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope those days are done. Let's see. I'm looking at some of this. Oh yeah, Tezos is XTZ. Thank you, Strika. Engine. Let's look at Engine. Let's look at Engine right now. Let's check this out. Engine, man. Engine. I remember this spring when I was following Engine at 21 cents, and I had thousands and thousands and thousands of Engine coin, and I dumped it. But look at this. This thing went way up. Looks like Shiba might be moving too. So with Engine, very similar to, I believe it was GRT, is that we are seeing this thing really kind of squeeze. And I think that we are just seeing these cryptocurrencies just playing the waiting game, to see what Bitcoin and the rest of the market is going to do. XLM, okay. That was my jam. We'll do that next. Just partnered with MoneyGram. Yeah, that's great. I haven't looked or researched XLM in quite a while, so but we can see that Engine is squeezing right around this $1.61 level. So right where we're at. I want to look at this on a 1 hour chart. Yeah, this thing is kind of looking weird. But I do think that in the next few days, let me just do something here. See what we got. This might be fixing for a little reversal here or another move to the upside. I do think that we are seeing Engine, and this is a bull flag pull with pennant, and we can see how this is forming a symmetrical triangle at the end. So at 1 a.m. Central Time, we might see Engine start moving either to the upside or the downside. I never like to try to determine which way a trend is going to go based off a Fibonacci time sequence. So this is going to be interesting here, and I'm really not seeing any kind of Elliott wave theory or anything like that that I can really grip onto and try and figure out, where things are going. This just kind of seems like manipulative movements. So I do think, yeah, if we see Engine trading between $2 and $1.26, $1.33 over the next few days, 5 to 10 days, that's probably the range we are going to see this thing going in. XLM. Let's do XLM. Damn. Look at XLM go on the 1 hour chart. This thing is just ripping. Okay. So I can get into this. Let's pull this up on a 1 day chart. Stellar lumens. I want to see if there is a different chart. Okay, so I was trading Stellar quite a ways back. We might have looked at this chart recently. I don't recall because I just look at so many charts. But we may, in fact, have Gartley pattern going on here, and let's really kind of break this down. Even though Stellar has really taken off, that's great. Let's look at this, because what I look for when I'm analyzing these charts is I'm looking for a high like this, and I'm looking for a low like this. And this usually indicates that, when we see, these patterns like this, that there might be some sort of Gartley going on here. So this is going to be my x-axis. This is going to be my a-axis. This will be my b-axis. This will be my c-axis. And what we are going to try to do is predict where D is. And so with that said, this might be setting up for some sort of corrective wave. With this huge run up, even if they are partnered with MoneyGram, we might be seeing this make a retracement. But what we're going to need to do is see that these levels are in between the 61.8 and 786. and we're going to need to see these levels hit the 61.8 down to the 786 levels. And actually on this C part, I misspoke. This could actually run theoretically all the way up to this high here. So we're looking for the 61.8 all the way up to the 100% level here, 61.8 down to the 786 level here. So let's get into this quick. So we can see that this is the 50% level here. So this did not make it to the 61.8 level. So this pattern may not be even valid. And we can see that this has violated the 786. So we're not really seeing true Gartley pattern here. So this might end up actually going bullish. And we can also test for that. Just bear with me on this 1 second, folks. This is kind of a process. So with that said, okay. Just going to go ahead and run some stuff here. Yeah, I'm liking this. Okay. So this thing might actually be going, be trending upwards. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw seller break out to this 50-cent level at this point. We are seeing these lows getting higher. If that does happen, that'll be interesting. Right now, this is kind of a tough read. We can look at this in a Fibonacci channel as well. So we can see that this thing has done a great job kind of obeying this Fibonacci channel. And if this thing does start ripping to the upside, you know, I do think we will run into maybe a little bit of resistance right at or around this level here, right around that 41-cent level. And if that does happen, we may be in for something like an ascending triangle, building a base and then moving up if the market allows it to. Otherwise, I have a feeling that if I throw a pitchfork up from here to here, we will see that thing, you know, maybe predict a path. So you can kind of see, it wouldn't surprise me if price action just kind of curled right up into the end of November, maybe exited this ascending triangle. This is going to be an interesting play. This is really a tough chart to read because we're not really seeing any sort of consistency in these movements. These are all whale movements for sure. So let's see here. It's getting late. I'm getting tired. So what do we got here? Well, Steve is on the Heroes AMA. Answering question, dude is cool. Oh yeah, Steve, the CEO. That's awesome. Yep. No, he's a good guy. I've watched. I haven't ever met him. I haven't talked to him, but the stuff I've seen him talk about on DJ Crypto's channel, the guy's legit. Not gonna say anything bad about him. So I think, folks, there's 18 strong in here. So if you've made it this far, thank you for being a part of this live stream tonight. I do appreciate every single one of you guys being here. More than you know. It is fun. And thank you to all the Patreons. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, $3 a month, you get your name, business name, YouTube channel name up on this banner. So I want to just thank everybody once again for being here for this impromptu live sesh that went another hour too long, but it was fun. So smash that like button if you haven't already, please. It gives me a lot of support. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. Looks like I've got 404 followers. Let's try to get like this turned into 5,000 followers here by tomorrow. That would be great. So hope everyone has a wonderful night or day. Strika, where are you at? Are you still in here, bro? Big shout out to Strika. Follow him on Twitter as well. Strika, there you are. Give Strika a huge follow. I'm going to go ahead and drop his channel name in the comments section. So go give him a follow. Big shout out. Thanks for retweeting this. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.